Hello everyone, Cam from Arsenal Theory here with some great news for Arsenal fans today. It's been a while since we had any great news. It's been real shit recently. But finally, Bukayo Saka signs on the dotted line and has extended his contract. We've been waiting for this for a long time. Apparently the deal's been agreed since February. And for some reason they've just decided to announce it now. I'm sure there's all sorts of marketing reasons as to why they wait with this stuff. I don't really understand it. I imagine the shit results we've had recently, they've probably thought, okay, let's give the fans some good news for them to be happy about today. And so I think nearly every Arsenal fan is pretty excited and pretty happy to see him commit his future to Arsenal. Apparently it's a 4-year contract till 2027. The money, I've seen various things kind of ranging from sort of just under 200, sort of 190k a week basic, up to kind of 288, just under 300k a week. So I mean, we don't know exactly what the deal is. I'd be surprised if he's on less than 200 a week basic. I'd be very surprised. I imagine he's probably on around 200, maybe a bit more, and then heavily incentivized with trophies and Champions League qualifications and stuff like that. So great news for the Arsenal. It creates an interesting situation for a couple of years' time though, because you don't want a player that's worth a lot of money going into less than 2 years left on his contract. So in 2 years' time, we're going to kind of be in this situation again, and kind of the club and the player have sort of protected both each other with this deal, which is kind of nice in a way that both people get to win. So if in 2 years' time Saka is like, well, look, you know, things haven't worked out, or I want a new challenge, or I've won things now, Arsenal, and I want to go try myself abroad or join Man City, I don't know, whatever it is, the club can sell him in 2 years' time and still get really, really good money for him because he's still got 2 years left on his deal. Vice versa, you know, if he does really well for Arsenal, wants to stick around, and he's helped us win trophies and deserves a pay rise, then he's in a great position to negotiate that. And if he's done all those things, Arsenal won't have a problem paying it, I don't believe. So all in all, win-win for everyone. So the other news breaking is that apparently we're in talks with Martin Odegaard to secure him for extend his contract. I mean, I thought he recently maybe signed a new deal, but maybe he hadn't. Maybe he's still on the deal when we bought him from Real Madrid. So I suppose, yeah, he deserves it. He scored 15 Premier League goals. He's captain of the team, so it would make sense if Martinelli's renewed and got a pay rise, and Saka's done the same, that would be the case for Odegaard as well. But the one player that hasn't signed yet, which is the one we all want to sign on more than anyone, is William Saliba. And that could be a very, very tricky deal to do. It's one of those instances where a player, obviously he's been injured for ages now, and since he's been injured, we've just turned shit. And so through not playing, his value has actually gone up, because we've seen what life looks like when he's not here, and it wasn't pretty at all. So no doubt his agents will be heavily leaning on that. And you know, you're going to start seeing all sorts of stories coming out. They're already coming out that he doesn't want to sign because of the way Arsenal treated him when we first bought him. You know, we bought him and then we didn't play him, and then we loaned him out and we didn't give him a chance, and then finally he turned up, you know, last season or this beginning of this season, and it's just been impeccable. So for me, I think he is coming up to, it will be a year left so on his deal. So you've really either got to sign him up to a new deal, or you've got to sell him. And I've heard some people say, no, you don't sell him, but you have to sell him if he doesn't sign a new deal, because he's a £100 million defender. His profile, the age that he's at, that profile, that doesn't exist. It's so rare to have a player at that level, at that age, with another like 10, I mean, he could actually still be 10 years from his peak. It's like 2021. Centre-backs don't mature till kind of like mid to late 20s, really. So where else are you going to get a player like that? Now the problem is, obviously, him and his agents will know that as well. So I imagine he's asking for an incredible amount of money, and I don't know if the club want to pay that kind of money. I don't think the club definitely don't want to make him the highest paid player at Arsenal, and at 21 as a centre back, I can see why they wouldn't want to do that. So I don't know if there's a way around it where you give him a signing on fee, so like you chuck him like 5 or 10 mil, and then that effectively acts as like a supplement to his wages. I know Arsenal have done stuff like that before. I believe we did that with the Sol Campbell deal when we signed him all those years ago from Tottenham. Well, not even from Tottenham, but on a free transfer. So, but if he's not signing, as much as I hate it, we have to sell him. You get the 100 million and reinvest it in the squad. So we'll see what happens with that. There's really no reason for the deal not to have been done yet either. I mean, you can't even say that Saliba's been focused on finishing the campaign of the season. He's been injured since March. It's not like he's been training and playing games for us. So I don't know what the problem is. You're going to see all sorts of crap coming out in the papers about all sorts of transfers. I'm already seeing stuff happening that Bayern Munich are in for Rice. Apparently Arsenal have offered Reece Nelson a 4-year deal. He's out of contract in the summer as well. I'm very surprised if we're doing that. Essentially, he would be the backup to Saka, because we need a backup to Saka. I just don't know if he's at the level. He has improved. I will give him that. He has improved in the last 6 months, but that's probably because his contract was coming up for end, and he wants to get a new club or get a bumper pay rise. So I don't know. I don't know how much game time he's going to get, even if he does sign. So if I was him, I think he's probably better off leaving. Although it depends what his priorities are. What are his priorities? If his priorities are like, I want to play, 30 Premier League games next season and playing cup games, then yeah, you're going to have to leave. You're going to have to go and sign for, I don't know, a Palace or a Brighton. Not even a Brighton actually, but it'd be like a Palace, maybe a Brentford. I mean, these aren't bad clubs. These are good clubs, but obviously it's not Arsenal. So it depends. It depends on what he wants, really. I've heard he's getting offers from abroad as well, and he's played in Holland before, and he had a loan spell, I think, at Hoffenheim. So maybe he fancies trying that again. Maybe go to Italy, or maybe there's another German club in for him. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. There's also rumours breaking about Thomas Partey. Apparently we're kind of shopping him around some Italian clubs. I find that a very, very difficult deal to do. He's at a terrible age for a player like him. So he's like he's in his 30s now. I think he's just turned 30, maybe 31. He's on big wages. He's on over 200 grand a week, I think. And he gets injured a lot. And he's got some very questionable things going on in his private life. So it makes it a very, very difficult deal to do, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if we could get him gone, because his performances have just dropped right off a cliff. Been shocking when we really needed him the most as well. So I think a move to Serie A would actually suit him in terms of the pace of the league and the standard of the league. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, to be fair, if he did go, Arsenal are essentially completely looking to swap out an entire section of their team, because Xhaka's basically gone. That sounds like a done deal. Partey will be going. I mean, Smith Rowe looks like he's out the door, which I will never ever come to terms with. I'll never come to terms with that. That will haunt me for a very long time. And so then you're looking at kind of, they're trying to do the Declan Rice deal, Caicedo from Brighton, and then you'd still need more on top of that as well. So I don't know how it'd be very difficult to get those kind of mental connections between those new players up and sharp. Right now everyone kind of knows each other, so you'd have to do a lot of work on the training ground to kind of get that familiarity up. I don't know how quickly you can do that. It's a risk. However, it's a calculated risk, and it would be an exciting risk to take. You're taking a risk at the because you're hoping to gain something from it, not to kind of just hold on to what you've got. So I'm down for it if the club are able to do it. If they're able to get Rice and Caicedo in, I mean, we're talking big money though. I mean, Rice is going to be like 100 million. It's going to be 100 million. And then because Caicedo is probably going to be about 80. It's like 180 million bang there. So, it's not the kind of money we're used to spending as a club. So, but hey, if the club, it's not my money. If the club are prepared to do it, then why not? Let's get it done. We're going to be going on to play Wolves on Sunday. I'll do another video close to the game about that. I've got some thoughts about what's going on there and some further thoughts on Smith Rowe. What I will say on this Smith Rowe situation, because we're getting linked with like Mason Mount and James Maddison, and if we're going for those players, and Smith Rowe is toast, but I will be disgusted at this decision. I'll be disgusted. It would need to be explained to me. There would need to be, this is why it's happening. There have been rumours that he was caught doing balloons. I don't know if that's true or not. If so, I mean, what an idiot. But even if he was, I wouldn't get rid of him for that. That's the sort of thing that stupid people do when they're young. And he could learn from something like that. But I look at all the players over the years that we've given chances to and kept around when we shouldn't have, and let them really have so many opportunities to make a difference. And it doesn't look like we're going to do that for Smith Rowe. Now, to be fair, when we've done that in the past, it was the wrong thing to do. Okay, it was the wrong thing to do. We should have cut our ties and got rid of those players. You know, we should have just got rid of them. Aaron Ramsey, should have got rid of him the season before. Got the money for him. Maitland-Niles, should have got rid of him. Got the money for him. Ozil, we would have got money for him. Mesut Ozil, we shouldn't have even renewed his contract when we did. Don't want to sign? Okay, great, leave. So I suppose it is the club looking at it and saying, look, we're learning from our lesson here. This player isn't cut out for it. But I just don't believe he's not cut out for it. I really don't. I don't see him being like a Dele Alli situation at Tottenham where the kid just looked incredible and then he just went completely off a cliff. I mean, he's still making squads, so I don't know. Something's not quite right there. And I can understand, obviously, if he has been having questionable decision making in his private life, obviously the club can't come out and start talking about that because it's private information, isn't it? But there have been plenty of players that have had personal issues over the years that have played for Arsenal. We've had players done for drink driving. Our captain was done for drink driving. Went into prison. You know, Merson, drinks, alcohol, the whole lot, all sorts of problems. And this happens at other clubs as well. I mean, like Phil Foden had some issues with some United players and stuff, and being a bit naughty, being a bit silly. Jack Grealish has been caught doing. I say caught. If you're a day-to-day kind of lad, these aren't really big deals. You know, he's got drunk and been photographed passed out on the floor, whatever. It's not a great look, but hey, you're a professional footballer here. You shouldn't be in those situations, and he's come back and learnt from it. I mean, we haven't actually had that with Smith Rowe. No one actually really knows what's going on. Or maybe there's nothing going on, and maybe Arteta and the club are looking at it going, look, we can get 30-40 million for him, and we can get in maybe a Mason Mount or a James Maddison, who we think is a 20-30% upgrade on Smith Rowe. But I still don't. The guy's got so much potential that I really don't want to see him this be. We gave him the number 10 shirt. We gave him the number 10 shirt like 2 years ago. Now we're ditching him. Oh, that'd be a sad old day. I really won't want to be doing that video if he does leave. So Yeah, some other news with Arsenal, with some of our loanees. Congratulations to Folarin Balogun, who's hit 20 goals in the French league. A lot of people are kind of pissing over that, saying, it's a farmers' league. You know, Lacazette, who used to play for Arsenal and was dog shit, absolute dog shit, in his last season for us, just scored 26 goals. So whenever you talk about Balogun scoring 20 goals, everyone always goes, oh yeah, but look at Lacazette, he's rubbish and he scored 26. Like, Lacazette's got nothing to do with this conversation here. Completely different situations as well. Lacazette's in his 30s, Balogun is young, he's like 20, 21 years old. We need a goal scorer, we need someone who can stay cold in those moments. You know, those moments where it's one-on-one, there's not a lot of time left, you're not getting many chances in a game. You don't know when the next opportunity is going to come up. And he looks ice cold. None of our current team do. You know, Martinelli are one-on-one. Saka one-on-one. Don't know. Jesus, definitely not. Jesus especially, just continuously fluffs his lines. Balogun just looks like a stone cold killer. Now, are you going to get the heavy pressing from him? Are you going to get the off the ball runs? Are you going to get the all round interlinking play from Balogun? Maybe not. But what you are going to get is someone who will put the ball in the back of the net, which is what you want from your number 9. So, yeah, it looks like we're getting rid of him as well. Now, I don't particularly like any of these decisions. I understand them. I say understand. I'll only understand them if the money is reinvested and the squad improved. Now, obviously, the club can't email Cam from Arsenal Theory and go, look, stop doing this video. These are the moves that we're going to be making. We're going to sell Balogun. We're going to sell Smith Rowe. That's going to bring in about 80 million pounds, which means we can go and do this, and this. So we won't really know until these deals start happening. I mean, the transfer window opens on, I think it's the 10th of June. So, but yeah, anything you read online, just treat it with a real big pinch of salt. Agents will be pulling all sorts of manoeuvres, all sorts of nonsense will be coming out in the press. So, until something is announced, and it is a bit of a cliche, but until it's announced and you see it on the official website, it's just not done. We thought Mudryk had signed. All the in-the-know Twitter accounts, Fabrizio Romano, Ornstein, all that lot said Arsenal, Mudryk, happy days, sign deal, deal's done. It wasn't done. Chelsea went back in there and took him from us. So it's not done until you see it on the website. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please press the like button, please subscribe, and I'll be bringing some more videos out this week, just kind of covering, hopefully I can do some daily ones actually, because there's just new news coming out all the time, so there's quite a bit to talk about. And then obviously we'll have a preview before the final game of the season against Wolves, where the players better turn up, otherwise they're going to get booed off at home on the last game of the season. And that would be just such a shame, such a terrible ending. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.